No ambitious person has ever been happy. In fact, the ambitious person is the unhappiest in the world. But we go on training children to be ambitious. Be the first, be at the top, and you will be happy. And have you ever seen anybody at the top and happy at the same time? Was Alexander the Great happy when he became a world conqueror? He was one of the unhappiest men who has ever lived on the earth. Seeing the blissfulness of Diogenes, he became jealous, becoming jealous of a beggar. Diogenes was a beggar. He had nothing, not even a begging bowl. At least Buddha had a begging bowl with him and 3 robes. Diogenes was naked and with no begging bowl. He was going to the river one day with his begging bowl. He was thirsty. It was hot and he wanted to drink water. And then on the way, just when he was on the bank, a dog passed by him, running, panting, jumped into the river, had a good bath and drank to his heart's content. The idea arose in Diogenes' mind. This dog is freer than me. He does not have to carry a begging bowl. And if he can manage, why can't I manage without a begging bowl? This is my only possession, and I have to keep an eye on it because it can be stolen. Even in the night, once or twice, I have to feel whether it is still there or gone. He threw the begging bowl into the river, bowed to the dog, thanked him for the great message that he had brought for him from existence. This man, who had nothing, created jealousy in Alexander's mind. How miserable he must have been. He confessed to Diogenes, "If ever again God gives me birth, I will ask him this time, please don't make me Alexander, make me Diogenes." Diogenes laughed uproariously, and he called the dog. Because they had become friends by now, they had started living together. He called the dog and he said, "Look, listen what nonsense he is talking about. Next life he wants to be Diogenes." Why next life? Why postpone? Who knows about next life? Even the next day is uncertain. The next moment is not certain. What to say about the next life? If you really want to be a Diogenes, you can be one right this moment here now. Throw your clothes into the river and forget all about conquering the world. That is sheer stupidity, and you know it. And you have confessed that you are miserable. You have confessed that Diogenes is in a far better, more blissful state. So why not be a Diogenes right now? Lie down on the bank of the river where I'm taking my sunbath. This bank is big enough for both of us. Alexander could not accept the invitation, of course. He said, "Thank you for your invitation. Right now I cannot do it, but next life." Diogenes asked him, "Where are you going? And what will you do even if you have conquered the world?" Alexander said, "Then I will rest." Diogenes said, "This seems to be absolutely absurd because I am resting right now. If Alexander is not happy, if Adolf Hitler is not happy, if Rockefellers and Carnegies are not happy, the people who have all the money of the world, if they are not happy, the people who have all the power in the world, if they are not happy. Just watch people who have succeeded in the world and you will drop the idea of success. Nothing fails like success. Although you have been told that nothing succeeds like success, I say to you that nothing fails like success. Happiness has nothing to do with success. Happiness has nothing to do with ambition. Happiness has nothing to do with money, power, prestige. It is a totally different dimension. Happiness has something to do with your consciousness, not with your character. Let me remind you, character is not you. It is something you have cultivated. You can become saint and still you will not be happy if your sainthood is nothing but a practiced sainthood. And that's how people become saints. Catholics, Jains, Hindus, how do they become saints? They practice inch by inch, in detail, when to get up, what to eat, what not to eat, when to go to bed. I don't believe in character at all. My trust is in consciousness. If a person becomes more conscious, naturally his character is transformed. But that transformation is totally different. It is not managed by the mind, it is natural, it is spontaneous. And whenever your character is natural and spontaneous, it has a beauty of its own. Otherwise you can go on changing, you can drop your anger. But where will you drop it? You will have to drop it within your own unconscious. You can change one side of your life, but whatsoever you throw in will start expressing itself from some other corner. It is bound to be so. You can block a stream with a rock. It will start flowing from somewhere else. You cannot destroy it. Anger is there because you are unconscious. Greed is there because you are unconscious. Possessiveness and jealousy are there because you are unconscious. So I am not interested in changing your anger. That will be like pruning leaves of a tree and hoping that the tree will disappear one day. It is not going to be so. On the contrary, The more you prune the tree, the thicker will be the foliage. Hence your so-called saints are the unholiest persons in the world, pretenders pseudo. Yes, if you look from the outside, they look very holy, much too holy, saccharine, too sweet, sickeningly sweet, nauseating. You can only go and pay your respects to them and escape. You can't live with your saints even for 24 hours. They will bore you to death. The closer you are to them, the more puzzled, perplexed, confused you will be, because you will start seeing that from one side they have forced away anger, but it has entered into another side of their life. Ordinary people are angry once in a while, and their anger is very fleeting, very momentary. Then again they are laughing. Again they are friendly. They don't carry wounds too long, but your so-called saints, their anger becomes almost a permanent affair. They are simply angry, and not at anything in particular. They have repressed anger so much that now they are simply angry. In a state of rage, their eyes will show it, their noses will show it, their faces, their very way of life will show it. Lu Ting ate at a Greek restaurant because Papadopoulos, the owner, made really good fried rice. Each evening he would come in and order fried rice. This always caused Papadopoulos to fall down with laughter. Sometimes he would have 2 or 3 friends standing nearby just to hear Lu Ting order his fried rice. Eventually the Chinese's pride was so hurt that he took a special diction lesson just to be able to say fried rice correctly. The next time he went to the restaurant, he said very plainly, "Fried rice, please." Unable to believe his ears, Papadopoulos asked, "What did you say?" Lu Ting shouted, "You heard what I said." "You gleek plick. It won't make much difference from fried rice." Now it is gleek plick. You close one door, another immediately opens. This is not the way of transformation. To change your character is easy. The real work consists in changing your consciousness, in becoming conscious, more intensely and passionately conscious. When you are conscious, it is impossible to be angry, it is impossible to be greedy, it is impossible to be jealous, it is impossible to be ambitious. And when all anger, greed, ambition, jealousy, possessiveness, lust disappear, the energy involved in them is released. That energy becomes your bliss. Now it is not coming from outside. Now it is happening inside your being, in your innermost recesses of being. And when this energy is available, you become a receptive field, you become a magnetic field. You attract the beyond when you become a magnetic field, when all the energy that is unnecessarily being wasted by you and your unconsciousness gathers, pools inside you. When you become a lake of energy, you start attracting the stars, you start attracting the beyond, you start attracting paradise itself. And the meeting of your consciousness with the beyond is the point of bliss, true happiness. It knows nothing of unhappiness, it is pure happiness. It knows nothing of death, it is pure life. It knows nothing of darkness, it is pure light, and to know it is the goal. Gautama the Buddha went in search of this, and one day, after 6 years' struggle, he attained it. You can also attain it, but let me remind you, by saying that you can attain it, I am not creating a desire to attain it. I am simply stating a fact, that if you become a pool of immense energy, undistracted by any worldly thing, it happens. It is more a happening than a doing. And it is better to call it bliss than happiness, because the word happiness makes you think it is similar to what you know as happiness. What you know as happiness is nothing but a relative state. Benson went to Kranz's clothing store to buy himself a suit. He found just the style he wanted, so he took the jacket off the hanger and tried it on. Kranz came up to him. "Yes, sir, it looks wonderful on you." "It may look wonderful," said Benson, "but it fits terrible. The shoulders pinch." "Put on the pants," said Kranz. "They are so tight, you will forget all about the shoulders. What you call happiness is just a question of relativity. What the Buddhists call happiness is something absolute. Your happiness is a relative phenomenon. What the Buddhists call happiness is something absolute, unrelated to anybody else. It is not in comparison with somebody else. It is simply yours. It is inner. The American Constitution contains a very stupid idea. It says that the pursuit of happiness is man's birthright. The people who wrote this Constitution had no idea what they were writing. If the pursuit of happiness is the birthright of mankind, then what about unhappiness? Whose birthright is unhappiness? These people were not at all aware that if you ask for happiness, you have asked for unhappiness at the same time. Whether you know it or not does not matter. I call it stupid because nobody can be in pursuit of happiness. And if you are in pursuit of happiness, one thing is certain: you are not going to get it. Happiness is always a byproduct. It is not the result of a direct pursuit. It happens when you are not even thinking of it, what to say of pursuit. It happens suddenly out of nowhere. You are doing something totally different. You may be chopping wood. Certainly it is not the pursuit of happiness, chopping wood. But in the early morning sun, when it is still cool, the noise of your axe falling on the wood, pieces of wood being thrown all around, making a noise and then leaving a silence behind. You start perspiring, and the cool breeze makes you feel even cooler than before. Suddenly there is happiness, a joy, uncontainable. But you were simply chopping wood, and chopping wood is not mentioned as a birthright in the Constitution. Because then, how many things are you going to include? You cannot forget one day. There are a few things that make no logical sense and have no relevance, but somehow remain hanging in your memory. You cannot understand for what reason they are there, because millions of things have happened far more important, far more significant. They have all disappeared. But a few insignificant things have left a trace behind. You cannot find any reason why, but they have remained.